So, here's the deal, people. You're welcoming to the new YouTube channel that I just started, Mouth of the North. Okay? So I got a big fucking mouth and I know how to use it. Alright? So, here's how that the United States needs to actually fucking protect themselves for a water shortage system. Alright? So, you're talking like literally like a shortage of water through the whole United States. They need to take and they need to put this into effect immediately. They need to make sure that all public places use salt water for their toilets, wastewater as far as that goes. So your shower would be salt water, but it would have filtration to it. The main units or main places that use fresh water for cooling, like metalworks or for certain things, they need to have that done as salt water. So salt water is going to be your main cooling unit. It's no longer going to be fresh water because it's just a fucking waste, straight up, okay? And people can hate me for saying what I'm saying, but it's the truth, okay? And they need to take and they need to have whole saltwater facilities done and salt water pumped into main facilities. So basically it comes off from the ocean and they'd have it pumped up all through the United States, like big water mains that get pumped up. Every apartment complex would actually have salt water as their main source for their toilet and their shower, but the shower would have a filtration system in it, obviously, so that your hair doesn't get stiff from running, from being, you showering within salt water. But it would be only minimal. It's just like something like a normal screw-on filter that would be hooked into that concept, as far as that goes, like just like a normal filter that goes through like your wells, things like that. And it just filters out the basic impartial or impurities out of salt water. Also, everything else that would be normal water, drinking water, would not be that. That would be your standard water that you get from whatever city that you live in. Okay? So then we can clear out and save thousands or millions of gallons of water, of fresh drinking water, by just having the toilets run salt water, your showers run salt water, and any main facility as far as like metal manufacturing, glass manufacturing, or any type of manufacturing plant that would run fresh water into their facility to be able to actually soak or spray anything that they need to with water, but it's going to end up being salt water, not fresh water. And then also restaurants would have everything inside of it would be ran by salt water except for one sink in the back that they use for running fresh water in order to boil things or bake things or make things with that, but other than that, everything's going to be set as salt water. So you're going to have saltwater bathroom for your toilets, for your urinals. Everything else is going to be set as fresh water. Your sink that you might possibly get water out of when you're inside that restroom is going to be a fresh water sink. So you wash your hands with fresh water, but it's a minimal, you know what I mean? Because it's all automated, so it only turns on for a split second, whatever it might be. Water fountains in the public, that's going to be fresh water, obviously. You know what I mean? Because you can't filter it out. You can only filter out so much impurities or so much particles of salt out of salt water. But once you have it pumped up to pretty much, if you went to California, per se we went to California, right? And we were running everything off that. All you have to do is just build pretty much every apartment complex new. So certain facilities or certain water supplies are going to be ran up that are going to be used or utilized just for the shower systems and the toilets, okay? And then you're going to have a separate water supply that's going to be ran up for your normal drinking water. It's going to go to your kitchen sink, it's going to go to your bathroom sink, and that's it. Everything else will be salt water. okay? And everybody's like, well, salt ruins plumbing. Well, no, it doesn't. There is so much new stuff that's out there with like that has to do with like PVC plastic and stuff like that. You don't even have to worry about it, man. Most all your actual like piping is like the main piping that's main piped through your facility from your actual water treatment facility to your home is actually piped with PVC piping. They use really, really, really big ass fucking piping. You know, we're talking like 15-inch to 18-inch pipe that runs underneath as far as the main goes, right? Even the main is actually made out of freaking high-pressed plastic or composite plastic PVC, and it's just it's non-destructible. It's not going to get deteriorated or nothing like that. Your house has copper in it for a fact that the copper helps to bring down the pH level within inside of the water system. Okay, so when they filter it and they purify it at the water treatment plant, they only purify it and they only do so much. Okay, the rest of it's done as it gets to your house, and the piping actually helps with that because copper actually helps reduce the pH within the system. Okay, normal pH when it comes out from the factory, once it's actually purified, comes out about 9. Okay, normal tap water, drinking water should be somewhere around 7.5. Okay, and that's why copper helps with that and that aspect of it. But at this point, we need to literally look at every aspect of what we have to offer, how we can help out to bring the world to a better place. Okay, so the only way that we can do that is by actually stopping people from wasting drinking water, because there's only so much drinking water that's allowed within the world. There's so much water in the world, right? You're talking billions of gallons of water within the world, but X amount of it is only drinkable. You know what I mean? The rest of it is not drinkable because of the fact that it's either salt water or it's stagnant polluted. Okay, and stagnant polluted could be that it's out of a swamp or that it was used in a waste facility. For instance, might have been used in a power plant, you know? So now it's not drinkable no more. So now it's considered wastewater. So they have to frickin' pump that shit into the ground, and they have to wait X amount of years until it goes through the whole filtration system of the ground, through rock, sediment, charcoal, what have you, till it hits a pocket where it can build up, and then it comes back up. It's like fragging with the oil companies, right? They use fresh water when they frag, but they're pumping in fresh water into cavities, and it becomes stagnant, stale water because of the fact that they can't drink it. Nobody can drink that shit because of the fact that it has oil product inside of it, okay? Or petroleum product within inside of it, okay? So instead of using fresh water to pump into that for fragging, they can use salt water, okay? The salt water has more mineral content as well, so therefore it will actually help hold stronger to the actual ground. It will actually hold stronger to the minerals within the ground, and therefore it won't cause quaking, and it won't cause fault occurrences to where like the ground collapses, things like that. So we basically need to do this. Like, this is not a given. This is like an automatic. We have to, as the United States of America, step in and say, this is what people should do. And we need to take this plan into action immediately. And we can save billions of dollars, okay? And that can go towards the government, that can go towards the people, that can go towards whoever. I don't give a shit, okay? I never do. I really don't care. I'll literally tell the government how that they can actually fucking kill off millions of people, but yet still keep us all alive type of thing, but make sure that everybody's paying, okay? But that's a whole different episode, and that will come soon enough, okay? But for right now, all I want to do is just let you guys know that this is exactly how that the world needs to foresee their water shortage, okay? Because there's people that are in other countries, they're taking water out of a fucking ditch, okay, that is literally filled with worms and maggots and all kinds of stuff, and they're trying to filter it out, but they can't really, because they have stale water, but the water's being pumped up from the ground at that point. That's the only point of carcinogen that they have, which would be like looking at, let's see here, Nigeria or something like that. They literally, the water is so bad that they have no access to clean drinking water except for the dirty water that's being pumped out of the ground, and they have no way to filter it, right? So with that, there's plenty of ways to filter that water, but they don't know that, and they don't have the help to get that, okay? It's just like filtering a well water. There's plenty of ways to filter it, but we could actually send them over clean drinking water and make sure it's clean, as long as we take into consideration that we waste billions of gallons of water through glass blowing companies that need to cool it, metal making companies as far as gun shops, gunsmiths, sword manufacturing, metal manufacturing as far as cars go, anything like that. We need to literally cool the metal with salt water, not purified actual drinking water like they do. Because most of those companies and most of those places use actual standard drinking water out of a faucet. It just comes out of a faucet that's hooked to their facility, and they pay the money from the city, and it's pumped in after it's been filtrated and been cleaned to the facility, and they use it hooked up to a garden hose, and they're sitting there spraying this shit off, which is wrong, because why should we let them use that and utilize our drinking water for cleaning and filtering and doing that shit when and cooling off metal when it's not necessary? If they pumped in salt water into the same facility and used the same hose and just sprayed off salt water onto that shit, ain't no problem. It's going to cool it the exact same way, okay? The only problem with salt water is it does leave a little bit of like a corrosion streak to it, okay? So when it comes into the facility that they're using, say it's a metal manufacturing company for a car, right, or automotive shop, the only thing that they need to do is have an inline water filter. So you got your main line coming in, you got a filter, and that's it. It's literally a canister filter that would be on any normal standard well, okay? And it filters out enough impurities out of there to where when they actually cool their metal, it won't have any problems, it won't have any streaking, it won't have any weakness, it will be absolutely perfect. It's not adding material, it's not taking away material, it's doing the exact same thing. The only thing that we need to do though, and that's going to be expensive, is to take it from the ocean and have it pumped up or piped up to where we need to go. Because within the United States, there's X amount of space, and I mean, obviously, what are you going to do? You can't have truck drivers trucking, semi-truck loads of salt water up to facilities. You probably could, or trains bringing it up, but the honest best way, just build pipeline. They already have pipelines underneath the ground for fuel systems, okay? Because there's been people that have complained because they feel earthquakes or tremors underneath their house, and they're like, complain about it or they report it, and people are like, no, your house is built on an actual pipeline. And the pipeline that they're talking about is not water pipeline. It's actually a gas pipeline that comes up from the Gulf of Mexico or wherever it may come from. Purification plant, wherever it may come from. And it's being pumped up underneath there. And when their house shakes, they're actually feeling that vibration from millions of gallons of fuel being pumped through that pipeline. So if we took the same concept but used salt water and did the same exact same thing, there's no difference. There's no problem. And nobody even knows the difference. Okay? The only people that will know what's going on are the people that are sanctioned to use that faucet for that purpose only and not for drinking. Okay? So the only people that will be affected by it, absolutely nobody. Businesses will obviously have to deal with the fact that their business is now being treated with salt water and their stuff is dealt with salt water. And if they don't want to deal with it, then they get fined or they get penalized, and then they get, if they still want to deal with it and they don't want to deal with it and they still want to use regular drinking water in order to do their job, whatever it might be, then they can get shut down. And I really don't give up. All right? So that's America for you right there. In a fucking nutshell, man, we need to suck shit up and we need to deal with it quick. Okay? Because if we don't, we're going to be out of drinking water within the next freaking 10 years. And that's not a joke. Guaranteed. All right? I got more for you later on. Stay tuned to my channel. If you like what I'm talking about or you understand what I'm talking about, you wait until I get onto the deep, deep, deep shit, man. This is just some tip of the iceberg shit, bro. All right? But I'll see you next week, man, and I got more for you.